All right, people. All my future nieces, nephews, children, grandchildren, I have to talk about this epiphany. I'm going to refer to some things I already knew as well. It's about the Nova effect. If you don't know the Nova effect, look it up. Something good can lead to something bad. Something bad can lead to something good. We're going to talk about that. Let's say this is life's timeline, okay? On this side, we have good and bad. We seem to think that life tells us if things are good and bad. This is based off things we've learned as a child. And so you trip and fall, you've been taught to say that is a bad thing, and you're gonna move your little dial in life to the bad side. And we're always taught what's good and bad. So some people live their life just saying, oh, things just keep getting bad. My life sucks because I'm on the bad side majority of the time. And let's say you pick up a loonie, you just got on the good side, you go up a bit. Anyways, notice that we just let life tell us what's good and bad, and we're so locked in on that outcome. We don't look at the big picture. We see this linear time modality. Anyways, the meat and potatoes of this video is this. It's a fallacy. Ignore it. This doesn't exist. This isn't true. Life is controlling the chalk in this scenario. What if I told you actually you control the chalk? And I know the schmaltz it sounds like, but hear me out. When you realize that everything will lead to a good moment, and vice versa, everything will lead to a bad moment. Instead of keeping this tally, you control what is good and bad. You know. Oh, and I meant to say as well, when you tripped and fell, you could have now been a minute behind your schedule, missed getting hit by a bus, and it saved your life. But you didn't know that in the moment. In the moment, it seemed bad, but in the future, something that was bad actually was good. That is why this is a fallacy. See what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense why we say things are good and bad in the moment, because that perception could be flipped completely in the future or in the past. And vice versa for good things. Picking up that loonie could have led to something bad. And so in the moment we thought it was good, but then a year later could have been a bad thing. Like how come all of a sudden we change our opinion based on the context of our life? That is why it doesn't make sense. And so let's apply that knowledge. Now, anytime something happens, it's up to you whether it's good or bad, because you know it's going to lead. The ripple effect will lead to something good, and vice versa will lead to something bad. And so I'll give you the choice. You can live your life a pessimist and say everything's going to lead to bad things, and then you take the chalk and say, oh, whoops, this is the bad side. And you take the chalk and say, yeah, I'm going to the bad side. Or you can be an optimist and take the chalk and say, I'm going good. That's going to lead to something good. I'm glad that happened. For example, at work, I'll tell you a story. I dropped my papers everywhere. It took me forever to organize them again. And instead of saying, bah humbug, life sucks for me, I said, thank goodness that happened, because it means I live in London. It means I have a great job. It means I have good colleagues. That's what that represents. Anyways, food for thought. People here, they're actually blind. I know that sounds very poetic, but they're blind in life. When something happens, they think it's good or bad, but they don't actually know. Because of the Nova effect, they don't even know if it's good or bad. It could be, but they don't have a crystal ball. If you want to eradicate the blindness and take away that blindness, you have to look inward and know it will work out at some point. That will lead to a good thing. And now you're not blind. Now you can see the future, in essence. And because you can see the future, you dictate it. Now you're going to go, yep, that's going to lead to something good. I don't know if you're into active manifestation, but then you'll see opportunities for good come. And you take the chalk and say, yeah, that was a good thing. Something else happens that maybe wasn't good. And you go, that's going to lead to something good. So I'm thankful for that bad thing. That bad thing was a good thing because it will lead to a good outcome at some point. I didn't get a property in Wallsburg 8 months ago. I was pissed. My ego was getting killed. My ego wanted to say I had a property at 23. that was a bad thing in life. Now, because that money isn't tied up, I'm able to buy a different investment that's even better, way better. That bad thing was actually a good thing, but in the moment, I couldn't see the future, and so it was bad. And notice the words I used. I could not see the future. I was blind to the future, so I was just in the present moment saying it was bad. Now that you can, in essence, know good things are going to come in the future. We know good things will come in the future. I can see the future. That bad thing that happens allows me to see, yep, that was good. When you're blind, you don't know whether the arrow's going this way or that way. When you're not blind, you can see where the arrows are going. And so when good things happen as well, I can now see that will lead to something bad. At some point, that good thing that happened to me, the blessing, it will lead to something bad. I have to accept that. And so now I can see the future. There's a bad outcome coming. But I can now at least see in the future, and that gives me hope. It gives me a bit of clarity, comfort, things we all long for. Food for thought. I could be completely wrong. I could be completely right. It's philosophy. Bear with me. I just wanted to share that with you. Take care.